Join our incredible moms who have mastered the art of balancing motherhood in today's episode of We Time Convo.
My name is Debbie.
This is Liza.
Moms sharing inspiring stories, practical tips, and a few hilarious anecdotes. And it all begins now.
Thank you for joining us. This is our stroller / car seat episode of We Time Convo. This is Liza.
And this is Debbie.
And we have our wonderful guest and friend here again, Tammy. Say hi, Tammy.
Hello, everyone.
So we are here to talk about strollers and car seats and our experiences with what we've used with our kids. And I'll have you go ahead and start, Debbie.
Yes. So this actually is something that I had to really think about because one, Vanessa's 16 and two, she's my only one. So thinking back, it was really, because she was my first, it was really important that I got a cool car seat and something that made sense. So I like the whole fashion as well as functionality. So I remember a combo that I did, which was the car seat that went on the stroller. And then obviously when she grew out of the car seat, we could continue to use the stroller. So it was one of those things where and now that I look at the car seats now, it's like so much easier than what I had because I can remember it was freaking heavy. And now it's just like so cool. But yes, I remember it was orange and brown and tan. And it was very heavy moving it from the car to the stroller. But I'm kind of glad because now it's all fancy. And I guess these things can go well over $1,000 versus back then, I believe when I was spending, it was about maybe $400, which I thought was kind of pricey back then. But now seeing the cost of car seats and strollers, it's really pricey now. So that was my experience with the car seat and the stroller.
So for me, what you're talking about is what they call a travel system, which is, it's the infant car seat and the stroller. So I use that for all three of the kids. I use Graco for all three of them. Yeah. What I liked about it is you don't have to wake the baby up to stick her in the stroller. You can just carry the car seat out and it will click on the stroller. And exactly. I agree. This was 23 years ago, it was big, it was heavy. That thing was not easy to carry around. But, as years gone, I have three kids that are like almost 10 years apart from each other. They make them a lot lighter, a lot easier to take out. So that's the good thing about the travel system. The bad thing in my experience with those is that the infant car seats, they actually only go up to, I want to say 35 pounds. Now, if you have a baby that's like 50 pounds or, already weighed 30 pounds when they were born, it's not going to last very long. So you're going to have to buy another car seat. Now, they do have convertible car seats now right, Tammy?
Correct.
Yeah, that will take them from infancy all the way up to, I think they can even change into a booster seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with my first child, I ended up getting the Bob stroller, which is a jogging stroller. It's like an all-terrain jogging stroller, but then I had to buy an adapter so that I can clip the car seat that I bought onto the Bob stroller.
So those are expensive, right? I want to say, what's the pricing point for those strollers?
Oh, when we bought it, and this is probably 14 years ago, it was probably in the 500 range, I think, 400, 500 range. But that was a beast. It was a beast. When we would disassemble it and put it into the car, it would just take up the whole trunk space.
Yep.
And it was heavy. And I didn't like that. I wanted something simple. So when we had our middle child, my friend lent me her, it was kind of like a snap and go universal stroller. So basically you would just snap the car seat, any of the car seat that you have. So hers was like a Graco universal snap and go, and we had a Graco car seat. So it would automatically, the infant car seat would automatically snap into that specific stroller. And it was so much easier to use because, the baby's usually in an infant stroller for at least 6 months, right? And it was very compact, which I liked. So I ended up using that type of stroller for my middle child and my last child. And then after they were done with the infant car seat, I did buy the car seat that basically grew with child.
Yeah. So that's what I had as well.
I think they call it like a 3 or 4-in-1.
Yes.
Yeah. And it actually does grow to a point where eventually it just turns into a booster seat.
Correct. So that's what I end up getting them for the car seat and then I transitioned to a McLaren travel stroller, which is just a very super light stroller, but you can only transition your child once they know how to sit up. Yep. Which is about 6-8 months.
So I can tell you, and as a first-time mom, I was caught up in obviously getting like fashionable as well as functional. And then it came to a certain point because, once you convert into kind of out of the infant into the regular and then eventually the booster, the stroller itself is so bulky, right? So you now need to actually look for another type of stroller once they get a little older. And believe it or not, at some point, me and her dad just bought, I want to say like a $15 stroller at Walmart.
Those umbrella strollers.
Yes. And that worked perfectly because at that point, she was able to move around and walk. But obviously, she's not going to be able to walk very far. So that helped us from a packing perspective because it didn't take a lot of space in the trunk. We were able to travel with it and use it when we took her out. And it was very easy. So that was for me from the perspective of just kind of saving a little bit of money, and it worked out just fine.
And I just want to throw in some price points here for any parents that are interested. So Bob strollers right now they run anywhere from $300 to $700, depending on what type of bells and whistles you would like. It's actually a really good jogging stroller. One of my mom friends actually used that with her kids when she was training and running. And I've actually pushed her kid in it. And it's so light, you don't even feel that you're pushing anybody in a stroller while you are running. They also have double ones, like if you have twins or if you have, 2 toddlers or whatever. So it is a really great stroller in my experience with using that. And I have used a McLaren as well, the umbrella strollers. So those are a little pricey as well for an umbrella stroller, but like what Tammy said, they're really lightweight, really good quality. So those can run anywhere from $75 to up to $300.
And I feel like for good quality, we actually still have our McLaren stroller. That stroller has gone through 5 kids.
Wow. So that was another thing that kind of I wanted to ask. How do you guys, because depending on like the life of the equipment, how do you guys feel about, sharing that or selling that to like as a secondhand? Was that, or lending it to people once you were done?
So strollers, I think, can always be passed down. And it's great, especially, Tammy used it with all her kids, and the McLaren stroller that I had inherited from a family member, which is great. But I think what I didn't realize for the longest time was that for car seats, they actually have an expiration date.
Correct.
Yeah.
They do. And then if you cannot donate, because, some people don't know, right? They think, car seat, you can reuse it and try to donate it. They won't accept used car seats.
And once
at
you
donation
get into,
centers.
once you get into a car accident with a car seat, it's done.
Got it.
Kind of just like resets the car seat.
Correct. You have to discard the car seat. And if you are in an accident, your car insurance will have to provide or replace your car seats. Correct.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah. So story, I was taking the kids to Great America, and I had my daughter and my niece and one of our other friends' daughter in our car, and a bus hit us. We're okay. They just kind of side-swapped us. But because of that, they had to replace all 3 of the strollers. or not strollers, my
Car
mistake.
seats.
Car seats. Yes.
Well, that's a good thing to know, that you check your car insurance, and see if they cover that.
Oh, by
or
law,
do.
they have to.
Yeah.
Oh, by law, they
Yes.
have to.
Oh, by law, they have to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So other car seats that I have used that I loved was Britax. It's a little like I think they run about. Have you had a Britax before, Tammy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So they run about $300, but I mean, it's a pretty hefty car seat. Like, that it's like your child, you can just feel that your child is safe in it. Another one that I used last, it's a Canadian car seat brand called Clek. That's CLEK. So I didn't really look into the safety of it. I just thought it was cute because there was unicorns on it. I was just trying to be really bougie about it. But it's actually a really, really safe car seat.
Good to know.
It's Canadian. It literally, the only thing about it is that it feels like it's 100 pounds. So if you're constantly switching car seats,
That's probably not an ideal
and
one.
the anchor system is really good. It's super easy, because I don't know if you are aware if they had this when you had Vanessa. Was the anchoring systems in your car?
Yes.
They didn't have that when I had Haley. It was just buckle in. They didn't have those. That wasn't a thing until after Haley was born. But it's a pain to get the anchor. You know how that is, right? So you literally just snap it in, and it will find the anchor for you and just snap in. So it was easy. It's just really heavy. This car seat was like $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really pricey.
But I really felt like she was really safe in it.
That's good.
Yeah. So as far as getting your car seat in safely, and if you want to know if it's installed safely, if you live in San Jose, or if you live outside of San Jose, you can also check your city's website for a list. But there are specific California Highway Patrol centers that will inspect your car seat installation for free. If you have AAA, they'll also inspect your car seat installation for free. So if you're not sure if you have that installed correctly, you want it to be really safe, that's a good resource for parents out there.
One of the experiences that I have is making sure that when they are buckled in, making sure that the seatbelt is at the right level, because I've also noticed sometimes when you're not you're paying attention to the actual like car seat in the car, but not necessarily your child in the car seat. So just making sure, is it the tether?
I think it's called a tether.
Yeah.
I think if I'm wrong, sorry, but I think that's what it's called.
It just to make sure that it's placed correctly on the child, because sometimes you'll find that it's actually lower. And making sure that it's in that right place. So
it should actually be tied to like 3 fingers.
Correct.
Right.
So another story. We had my daughter, who is she's an escape artist. So we had her in the car seat, and
Was this Emma?
no, this is Ella.
Oh, Ella. Okay.
And then we're driving, and all of a sudden I noticed she's like leaning forward into her car seat. I mean, the base part of the seat is all
strapped on, and
but she got her hands out of the strap, so her hands and her chest is out, and then she's leaning forward towards us, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to stop. I'm like, Ella, you need to put your arms back in, and then you're right, you have to make sure that it's tightened.
yes.
3 fingers so that they can't escape.
Yep.
Do you want to go over what our current California law
Yes.
seatbelt requirements are? And for those who don't live in California, if we have listeners outside of California, it's just a quick Google search. It will tell you what and I'm assuming it's pretty much almost the same for all states.
So current California law, children under 2 years of age shall ride in a rear-facing car seat unless the child weighs 40 or more pounds or is 40 or more inches tall. Children under the age of 8 must be secured in a car seat or booster seat in the back seat. Now, I can tell you, your child at a certain age, probably before 8, will start challenging you on them staying in a car seat.
Yeah.
Just
Or
something
wanting to sit in the front.
Exactly. Another current California law is children who are 8 years of age or have reached 4 feet 9 inches in height may be secured by a booster seat, but at a minimum must be secured by a safety belt.
So I still need a booster seat.
I was just gonna say.
It might be by weight too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 4'11", so
And then passengers who are 16 years of age and over are subject to California's mandatory seatbelt law. What's the mandatory seatbelt law?
Basically, you have to have a seatbelt on.
that's for everybody, right? Even adults.
But I thought
That's
that
a-
was like for like everybody should be on a
Yeah.
seatbelt.
regardless.
I think there's some states that you don't really have to have the seatbelt. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I know I've gone to certain states and
They don't require a seatbelt.
yeah.
So it's interesting. I just came back from international travel and we are just so accustomed to putting on our seatbelts. And a lot of places are still not there yet.
That's wild. I think one of my biggest fears is getting to a really deadly car crash. So I'm always having my seatbelt on.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. So I found that interesting. That, I mean, it's just second nature to us,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
But-
you don't want to pay a ticket either. How much is a ticket in
I
California?
think it's a lot. I'll be honest. When I was younger and I was driving, 16, 17, I don't know why I did what I did. I did stupid things when we were young, but I wouldn't put my seatbelt on all the way.
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed that on a couple, like Vanessa sometimes does it. It bothers her. So she'll put it on, but then she will take the top part of the seatbelt and she'll put it over herself. So all she has is the bottom. And I didn't really pay attention. And I noticed her doing that. And I'm like, why are you doing this? She goes, it bothers me. It bothers, I guess, the placement of where it is. And so I'm like, no. So like I catch her now.
But she should have to because I got a ticket for it. Because obviously when you're driving and say a highway patrol sees you, you don't have that. Because I did that too when I was younger. They're like, you don't have your seatbelt on. And how can you prove it if they don't see the side
side.
strap?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Well, I mean, we're all the same age. Remember in high school, we used to always pack a car, people sitting on people's laps.
Yes.
And I remember my friend had a truck in high school.
That was me.
We would sit while the car's moving on top of the freaking truck while it was moving and screaming and like, whoa!
Yes.
Just
Yes, that was me. So one of my first car was this beat up white Nissan car, beat up, that my dad and my mom gave me. And I was one of the people in school, like amongst my friends, that drove. And a truck only fit like 3 people in the front. And everybody obviously was walking or getting picked up. So they would, ask me for a ride and I would say, hey, go ahead, hop on the back, right? And I'd have my friends on the bed of the truck with no cover and I would drive them home.
and I think it's against the law in California
Yeah.
for people to ride in the back.
now it is. Yeah. Back then it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. There's still some states that do allow that.
Yeah. But I mean, when we talk about younger and being risky, like before I used to love, going on roller coasters and now you can get me on it unless like I really had to.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not a thrill seeker at all. So yes. So yeah, no, it's good to know seatbelt internationally, not as common.
All right. And so if you actually go on to todaysparent.com, there's a list of best travel systems and different brands. So there's like a best overall, best budget, best design, best luxury if you want to be bougie, best jogging stroller combo, and best color selection. So there's many different kinds to choose from and it has the brand. So if you'd like to read up more on travel systems or kind of compare, they also have reviews as well. So todaysparent.com has some really good.
So as a reminder, products that we use are not sponsored or advertised by us. It's just based on the practice and experiences that we've had.
This concludes our episode on strollers and car seats. Again, thank you to our guest Tammy for joining us and just sharing your experiences and the products that you've used. It's been great talking to you, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone for joining.